I stuttered and I got embarrassed and I couldn't finish the sentence. I need to get out of my comfort zone and just do this video because anyways, all my life this thing has been following me. It was there when my dad showed it to me when I was really little. It was there. It's there anytime someone talks about Greece, anytime you listen to ELO, anytime you walk into Disneyland. It's, well, not Disneyland, but California Adventure, and freaking love that place. But then what really kind of pushed me over the edge into my teenage phase of watching this movie on and on again, which, if you're my friend, you know that I'm like obsessed with Xanadu. I love it, which is really weird. But the reason why I got into it again was Star-Lord from Disneyland. So I'm going to show you a little clip.
Yeah! Love you, Phoenix, Guardians, out. You guys are great, come on. We're getting there.
In that clip, there's a couple things going on. There is this beautiful Star-Lord from Disneyland, and if you are a friend of mine, then you have heard me talk about him at least once. And if I haven't, then it probably means something else, but whatever, that doesn't have anything to do with this video. I think I might need to do a separate video where I'm talking about the magic of Disneyland, because it's kind of responsible for this. Whatever. In that clip that I just showed you, there's a song that starts to play in the background. It is All Over the World by ELO, which is an absolute bop, a banger, a slap, a jam, whatever you want to call it. I also forgot to mention that it's also there whenever you watch something like The Warriors or The Game. I love that game. And really, there's only two games that I'm playing right now, which is Fortnite, which I absolutely suck at, and The Warriors, which I still suck at, but I play it better than Fortnite. And if you have no idea what any of that stuff is, because you're not a close friend of mine and you're just kind of lurking on YouTube at 2 a.m., then whatever, you can look it all up. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but whatever. Let's take this back.
1979.
So 1979, the year that Grease was released. And Grease, if you don't know what it was a really big, great musical. It opened with this absolute banger of a song. And I personally like never watched Grease, but I get that it's like, wow, cinema. And Olivia Newton-John was beautiful. So after having that as a huge success in Hollywood, people were starting to think, maybe we need more musicals with Olivia Newton-John in them. So, speaking of Olivia Newton-John, she's this wonderful, beautiful Aussie pop star. And they just needed more of her in movies. So then they were going to make this one musical. It was going to be called, well, I mean, I don't know if it was going to be called that, but whatever. It was Silver Surfer, the musical. And Olivia Newton-John was going to be in it, and Paul McCartney was going to write the score for most of it. And I think that is like a weird idea, because it would have been an 80s Silver Surfer musical, which is just, I think I would love that musical, honestly. I think it's a really dumb idea, but if it worked, then yes, we are still talking about 1979. The year where the beloved, the Warriors, the movie came out. If you haven't seen The Warriors, it is a great film. It's about these gangs of New York. I want to get one of those Electric Eliminators jacket, maybe even a Moonrunners jacket. I don't care. Even if I got a Hi-Hats top hat, I would be for it. So if you have any Warriors merch, just let me know. Maybe if you have this plain green shirt that says Orphans on it and you don't know where it's from, just hand it to me, you know? And I'll just go, wow. Whatever. Anyways, The Warriors was a cool movie. And they had this really great plot, which I'm probably going to talk about in another video because I don't know if I have a script about it or not. That aside, they have this main character, this wonderful man who's got this great aesthetic, angry look. His name is Michael Beck. And in the movie, his name is Swan. Long story short, Warriors was a great movie. And it starred Swan, Michael Beck. And Michael Beck is once again the star of Xanadu. But there's kind of some problems to it, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then we need to talk about Gene Kelly. Knowing that it's 2018, people probably don't know who Gene Kelly is anymore. But basically, a long time ago in old Hollywood, there was, a lot of dancing movies. It's been around for a while. And there was this one talented man named Gene Kelly, and he did that Singing in the Rain bit. And it was really magical. So far, here's what we got. We got Olivia Newton-John, Michael Beck from The Warriors, Gene Kelly, and I've mentioned ELO, but now I'm going to talk about ELO, which is honestly a great band. You're probably going, who the fuck is ELO? And I get it. It's an old band. You might not know it. And I do get that there's a couple of you guys going, I can't believe this girl. Of course I know who ELO is. Who do you think I am, an imbecile? I'm not saying that you don't know who they are to insult you. It's just a common thing because I've talked about it and people are like, what the fuck is ELO? Electric Light Orchestra. They're a big band. They have, even if you don't know them, you know them because their music is just that iconic. And it's kind of sad that maybe most people would know them from Swiffer commercials. Either you know them from Swiffer commercials or you know them because you've seen Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 2 and the opening song is, once again, ELO. Think about it. We got super big pop star from Greece. We got the bad boy from The Warriors that all the grunge kids of the 80s, they were like, damn, the Warriors. I touched something sticky. Okay, whatever. And then you got the iconic dancing man from Royal Hollywood time and ELO, which was just a super big, I need to wash my hands now, I'm sorry. My point is that for that time, for 1980, that is like a crazy mix. That is like a super collab from, I don't have any like modern day comparisons to it. Whatever, we're just gonna say that for modern day references, it would be like if Jared Leto teamed up with Katy Perry and Inasha Bliss from that one meme, and also the girl from Split. I don't know. The point is, it was a lot of really famous people, or maybe not the girl from Split. That was probably a really bad analogy. Whatever, you get my point. If you've got this huge powerhouse of like 4 great things, what could go wrong? Another plus is that it's a musical, which is like really popular at that time, and also rollerblades, because everyone knows that if you didn't roller skate in the 70s, you were a complete loser. So with all that being together, it's logical that this movie that has all these great things about it, and I get that I've said that many times, I'm really sorry, is that it can't go bad. But it did. And I think what it all comes down to, like the root of all problems, which you can do with any movie, the root of all problems is always going to be the director. So let's talk about Robert Greenfield? Greenwald? Robert Greenwald. He was the director of Xanadu, and you look at his history, he does have a lot of work, and he has a lot of work after Xanadu. I did also watch a piece of his in my economics class, which was something about the cost of Walmart. I don't know. I saw that documentary in a class that I learned nothing in. Whatever. You look at his history, and there is a lot of like TV movies, a lot of documentaries, and then there is this one like theater piece, Xanadu. And it was his first one. He was kind of just starting out. He had some work before. He never did another theater piece that I'm not sure of. He might have, so don't quote me on that. But obviously there was something that they took a risk with that it did not click. So the scenes of this movie are really like choppy, really awkward. The dialogue is really screwy. So let's talk about the dialogue, and more specifically, let's talk about Michael Beck's dialogue. So we're gonna talk this problem by problem. What made Michael Beck amazing in The Warriors was that he didn't talk a lot. It made his character really interesting, that he could lead his whole team and he didn't have to speak a lot. But in Xanadu, which is a really kind of cheesy musical, I'm sorry, I don't like musicals that much, but I do, whatever. It just wasn't fitting for Michael Beck to have him talk a lot. And I think that really kind of screwed with a lot of things. So I would like to play my favorite clip of Michael Beck talking. Well, there's two. There's two really funny bits. There is the first one where he's buying popcorn from a popcorn stand in the middle of LA. I don't know if those existed in the 70s. I guess they did. I'm sorry, this is the 80s.
Over there, a great rock and roll band. This is the 80s.
Whatever, it's really awkward at how he just is buying popcorn. And it reminds me a lot of that one scene from The Room where Tommy Wiseau is buying like flowers from the flower shop. And it kind of doesn't really add anything to the story, but he says, "Hi, doggy," and it's like a really awkward scene, and you can't really name why. That's exactly, oh, God damn it, I touched the same, that's just...
Hi.
Hi.
I'll take one, please.
There you go.
See ya.
So now let's just talk about the plot, I guess. Which, if you want to watch my rendition of Xanadu, I'll put the link in the description. It's a video that it's called Xanadu, but through Plotagon, and that's a cool app. I love that app. I'm not sponsored. I just love Plotagon. So, let's look at Wikipedia. Struggling artist Sonny Malone is trapped in a dull job painting album covers. He's instantly attracted to Kira, an anonymous woman randomly photographed in the background of one of his assignments. No one knows who she is, blah, blah, blah. He goes to the place where the picture was shot. He finds Kira, and then he teams up with old-fashioned Danny McGuire to build the roller skating disco. And I guess at like first glance, it maybe seems like an interesting idea. You know, you got this guy, he meets someone, and he's like, wow, honey. And she's a muse. She's an ancient Greek muse, so I guess you could put like some mythology in there. It's really interesting. It's not in the background. Whatever. Sonny Malone, Swan from the Warriors. He's I think it's just really awkward the way how this movie opens up. It shows Sonny Malone drawing a bunch of pictures, you know, establishing that he's an artist and everything. And he obviously hates it, so he takes his drawing and he rips it up and he throws it out the window, and it flies to this beautiful mural, which is my background on Twitter, my header. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. Suddenly they're alive, and then it opens with the first song, I'm Alive by ELO. It's good. It's not too bad. The scene's a little weird. They used a lot of CGI at the second half of it. You know, CGI was not that great in the 80s or in the 70s. It was pretty bad, but I guess it was supposed to be breathtaking. I'll link you guys to that video below. I hope you guys watched it. So what else have I been talking about this movie? Okay, there's one more problem I don't think I haven't mentioned in here in my little script, because I'm fancy now. The scenes of this movie are really long and really awkward. There's a tap dancing scene about 30 minutes into the movie that lasts about 10 minutes. It's really long. I guess it kind of does further the plot a little bit, because it shows that Gene Kelly knew Olivia Newton-John in the 40s. And that's probably a really great problem that you can evolve on, that you can add onto. So basically, Sonny Malone is in love with Olivia Newton-John. And he's talking about this girl that he is in love with to Gene Kelly. And Gene Kelly is like, oh yeah, I was in love once too. It was this beautiful girl. They never mention a name for her. But then they show a flashback, and it's obviously Olivia Newton-John. And then when Gene Kelly meets Kira, you know, Sonny's current girlfriend or whatever, they don't really talk. They just... it's a weird movie. Whatever, Gene Kelly sees that Olivia Newton-John, his old girlfriend from the 40s, she's here again, and he's like, you look kind of familiar. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he just goes, all right, I guess if you don't know who you are, I don't know who you are either. And I kind of wish that they had made that a problem. Would have been really dramatic. Maybe the movie would have been a little more interesting, but maybe it didn't need that. There was also a dark side to this movie. That's kind of sad. I don't know if I want to mention that. I already mentioned it anyway. So Michael Owen Perry was a serial killer who, after watching Xanadu, he had claimed that Olivia Newton-John, that her eyes in the movie changed colors, and told him to murder people, which was a pretty horrible thing to get after that movie had released, to find out that damn, there's a serial killer out there and he's blaming it on me, which, you know, obviously it's not Olivia Newton-John's fault, but it's just horrible that had happened. It was horrible that had happened onto the fact that it was a bad movie. So that's just a little sad, a little bit. The other thing that was kind of sad after was that the auditorium in which Xanadu was in, the entrance to California Adventure, that actual building burned down 10 years after, maybe 18, I forgot the number. But the point is, it was bad. Michael Beck was not really in any other movies after that. You don't know who he is. You obviously don't. I mean, if you do, then thank you for knowing Michael Beck. I love him. And there was a lot of I think it's time to talk about the stuff that I liked about it, because obviously it's a bad movie, but like I hold it very dearly in my heart. It's just more about how it's brightly colored, I guess. The plot is horrible, but you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the plot is horrible. All that matters is how nice it is. And also there's a lot of like dancing in that movie, which is kind of like cool. They got a lot of like amazing dancers in this movie, and they got tons of them. If you were a dancer in the 80s, you were in Xanadu. They took everyone. It was really cool. They do have this really cool scene for the song Dancin', where they show one half, which is a complete swing movie. I mean, not movie. It's like a complete swing song, you know, a nice old jazz. Everything's having a good time. And then it switches over to the rock side, which is really cool. It's got nothing but bangers left and right. The tubes are there. There's that one girl in that striped suit. She's absolutely killing it. It's cool. And then they show them merge together, and I feel like that moment of the two stages merging together is a really, like, it's cool. It's one of the coolest things in the movie, to see everyone from the jazz side go over to the rock side and see them all, you know, jamming out. They're only together for like 10 seconds, and then Gene Kelly says, "I love it."
I love it!
And also the music is, I don't know why I like it a lot. I think it's just because I like weird, it's not weird, it's just pop. It's ELO. I like ELO, and I like Olivia Newton-John. And that's really good. It's a soundtrack that I still listen to all the time, so if you're looking for music that is mostly love songs and also party songs, it's not really a party song all over the world, I don't know. Whatever, I guess then maybe you'll like that music, check it out. It's freaking Xanadu. I don't know if there's anything else that I have to say about it right now, because I think about it a lot. I just kind of don't know what went wrong, you know? They had a stellar cast, had a lot of great dancing with it, and I wish it was a lot better than what it was. I've been thinking about, like, what would they do if they had redone the movie? What would they do now? Would they make it modern to now? Would they keep it in the 80s? Would they fix all the cheap dialogue? Would they make Gene Kelly confront Olivia Newton-John about how he knew her in the 40s? And also, this is just like, on this final note, I just want to mention that there is a cinematic rule that I learned in digital film. Anyways, this rule is a 3 minute, 30-second rule, where basically, in every movie, you should have, there's movies that can break this rule, you should have, like, your scenes no longer than 3 minutes. You should have a 3-minute scene. If it's more than that, your audience is gonna get bored. And if it's less, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But then you also have the 30-second rule, which is no shot should last longer than 30 seconds, which obviously did not apply to this video, because you can go back and you can realize that I'm talking for like 2 minutes straight. But in this movie, you had shots that lasted 3 minutes and scenes that lasted 15 minutes. Like, once again, I'll mention the tap dancing scene. 30 minutes into the movie, Sonny Malone goes to Gene Kelly's house, and from there, Gene Kelly sits in his own room, and then it's like a minute-long shot of Gene Kelly sitting in this chair, and in the background is another Gene Kelly and Olivia Newton-John just dancing together. And then they do that tap dancing sequence for like 4, 5, 7 minutes long. I don't know. It's really long and uncomfortable. I wish they had fixed it, because it's not a good It's not a good movie. But, whatever. On that note, yeah, Xanadu, I just really wish it was a lot better. I still love it, as bad as it was. And, darn. So now, because I talked for forever in this movie, oh, God damn it. So, because I talked for so long, I know I'm gonna have a long time of me editing this. I knew that this was gonna be a long video when I wrote the script. The script is actually horrible. I barely followed it at all. Whatever. I'll see you guys next time when I realize everything that I missed when I was making this video. So I'll probably just shoot that later. I don't know. Thanks for watching, you guys.